So if you've ever watched Drag Race before, you would know that most drag queens on the show are tops. Which is like wild. But when you think about it, they're dressed as women all day long. They're in this like feminine energy. And I think that when they go to have sexy time, they want to feel something different than what they have all day long. So it kind of makes sense that a lot of drag queens are tops because they want to feel masculine sometimes still. We all do. Sometimes I like to be a little more feminine and sometimes I like to be a lot more masculine and bro it up, you know? And so it makes sense that a lot of drag queens are tops. And I don't remember how I know this. I've just met a lot of drag queens and 99 out of 100 of them were tops. And that's exactly what the story is actually about. The time that I got topped by a drag queen, one from Drag Race actually. And I'll tell you who it is in a minute. But first, hey boys, my name's Mitch Mangione and I'm your storyteller of the day. If this story sounds exciting, keep watching. Otherwise, I don't really care. You go do whatever the hell you want. So this was a wild ride. Never would I expect that I'd be waking up in Pheromone's bed after being the bottom. Me being the bottom. Like, what? I'm like the most masculine guy alive.
Stop it. Get some help.
But yeah, but here we are. I look around and I see a bunch of wigs everywhere and I'm like, oh my gosh, I got drunk with and bottomed for Pheromone, which to most people is actually one of the most feminine drag queens there is. And now I've seen she's actually transitioned, so even more feminine than before. And you would think that like, because of all the videos I've posted being like, oh, my type is like bottom masculine guys, blah, blah, blah. Like you would think like, how did you end up bottoming for a drag queen? You know? But I will say during that period of my life was right after I broke up with my ex of 6 years, who I've mentioned before. I was a bottom for all 6 of those years, minus the 2 that we didn't have sex. And so it was like right after that. And so I was still kind of like in my bottom era, but also kind of like toying with my top era, but I still didn't really know who I was or what the hell I was doing. I ended up bottoming for Pheromone. So how this all even happened, like you're probably like, how the hell did that happen? This was literally right after season 9 too, like a month after maybe. So she was like at the height of her Drag Race fame at that point. So you're like, how the hell did you meet and have sex with a famous drag king? Well, rewind to 2003, 2004, and I am a MySpace whore. I think I had like 50,000 friends on MySpace at one point. And I was even on Chris Crocker's top 8, who's now Kara Cunningham, I believe. But I was on Chris Crocker's top 8 and I talked to Jeffrey on the phone before and it was a whole thing. I was pretty popular on MySpace. And so Farrah back in the day, whose name is actually Cameron, he was also popular on MySpace at the time. And we had chatted back and forth back in the day and he was on my like MySpace train. And if you had a MySpace, you know what a MySpace train is. I had a really popular train or a few trains and he was on a few of them. And so he knew who I was. We had talked or whatever. You know, we lost touch. Like most people on MySpace lost touch because MySpace kind of ended when Facebook and Instagram took over in 2009. And so I didn't have a MySpace anymore. So I hadn't heard from him in years. And then fast forward to her season on Drag Race, which I think was like 2016 or 2017. One of the, like, it must be 2017 because I broke up with my ex in 2017. So that makes sense. So around there. And I had just watched the show. I followed Pheromone one day on Instagram and she messaged me and I was like shooketh when I opened my DMs and saw Pheromone in there because I had no idea that that was Cam from MySpace, like no clue. I did not put 2 and 2 together until me and her started talking. And so she messaged me and was like, hey, I remember you from MySpace. Like I used to be on your trains, blah, blah, blah. And we got to chatting. And then she asked me to go get drinks with her that night. Like, let's meet up. Let's chat about this. Like there was no, and just to preface this, there was no like sexual talk at all. This was all just like friendly MySpace, social media, Drag Race kind of talk that we were chatting with before we met up for drinks. And so I go and meet up and I get drinks with her at this local bar. I believe it was Quads, if I'm not mistaken, which is in Las Vegas. And it's kind of like the pregame bar that everyone goes to before they go to Piranha, which is like the main huge bar where you've definitely heard of it. Like a lot of the drag queens, like the Vegas drag queens from Drag Race came from Piranha and a lot of queens perform at Piranha. It's a very big club. club in Vegas. And so Quads is right across the street and everyone goes there to pregame because it's a little cheaper than Piranha and there's like pool tables and it's kind of just like a grungy, like gay bar vibe. And so we met there and we had some drinks. Like the staff was like super attentive to us because it was Pheromone and she had, like I said, just come off of her season. So she was like getting super attention and we were drinking wine and we had other drinks and we had like a really good time. Like I really enjoyed her company and I'll talk a little bit more about like what happened after in a minute and I feel super bad about it. But anyway, we had like a really good time. We hit it off really well. And then all of a sudden I'm parking in her parking lot and going to her apartment. And so I'm thinking that this is just going to be like fun, but we did kind of like make out and stuff in the parking lot. So like I kind of knew what was going on, but did I know that like I would be the bottom and she would be the top? Or like, did I even know who was going to be who? No.
That's funny. Tell another one.
And like years later, after I realized that most drag queens are tops, or a lot of them, not most, because you're all going to come at me and be like, not everyone's this and that. Bleh. Shut the fuck up. Like a lot of drag queens are tops. Okay, you can go look it up or go ask somebody. All right, like Anitra is a top, and I almost hooked up with her too until I ghosted her. But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But we're making out. We go into her apartment, and then it happened. I am bottoming for Pheromone. Now, I was a little drunky, so I don't remember every bit and piece and every step of the way, and I'm not going to tell you each part of this sexual experience because then I will get demonetized, but just know that I was bottoming for Pheromone and could see all her wigs on the wall and everything in her room as I'm bottoming, and I'm just like, in my head, holy fucking shit right now. Like, first of all, I'm having sex with a celebrity. Second of all, I've never slept with a drag queen before. And third, never would I have thought that I would be the bottom in this situation. Like, had I had a fantasy that I would be topping a drag queen and like pull their hair and and like pull their wig off, yes, I had at that point. Like that would have been fun. But no, I was the one that was bottoming and getting my hair pulled. Actually, I don't know if I got my hair pulled, but you know, hopefully that's kind of fun. And so I wake up the next morning and I'm just like still flabbergasted because I wake up and I'm like, I open my eyes and I'm like, wow, that actually really did happen. Like, I did not dream this. Like, a part of me was like, maybe I dreamt this. No, I look around, I see all the wigs, I see her sleeping next to me, and I'm like, holy shit, I just had sex with Pheromone. And she's really cool. Like, I really actually enjoyed the time with her. And this is the part where I like feel bad about it. So after that experience, we continued kind of talking and I started to kind of get feelings for her. She started to get feelings for me. And so I said, you know what, you should come stay with me. Cause at this point, like this was months later, she had moved to LA because her house in Vegas got robbed. And so she moved to LA and pursued, you know, more of a drag race career, but we still continued talking. And so I said, you know, you should come stay with me for a few days. And so she ends up coming. And for some reason, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was because the first time we hung out, we were drinking a lot. And so I was more attracted to her than I thought at the time. And so when she came, I just like, we were hanging out, smoking cigarettes on the porch, talking. She was telling me all about Drag Race and stuff, which was really exciting because I like to get the like inside scoop on things. And I learned a lot of tea, but I also like realized like, I'm not actually attracted to this person. My type is way more masculine and just this isn't what I'm wanting. I also don't really want to be a bottom at this point. Like this was when I was starting to like think about, okay, maybe I can start topping a little more.
Get your ass out and shut the hell up, bitch!
Because like me and my ex hadn't had sex for 2 years. Like why would I continue to try to get in relationships where I'm the bottom if it's not going to end up working and then I'm just going to waste people's time? Like it always works in the beginning, like a few times we have sex, I'm like, all right, cool. But then when it becomes like a relationship and I have to have it more and more and more, I don't want to be the bottom anymore. And so there was always this dilemma. So like that was a part of it as to why I didn't pursue Pheromone. But the way I went about it was really horrible. And, you know, I was in my 20s, but that's no excuse. So she comes, we hang out one day, she spends the night, and then she's going to be staying with me for a few more days. But she goes to hang out with her hairdresser, who's her friend. And she leaves for the day. And I ghost her. Yeah, it was really like she came all the way to see me and then I ghosted her. Like, and I'm always telling people, like, don't ghost people, don't ghost people. But like, so many people ghost that it almost feels like okay to do. And it was truly not okay what I did. Like, it would have been one thing if she like lived in Vegas and I just ghosted her, but she like literally flew to Vegas to be with me, and then I just ghosted her because I was too scared to just be like, hey, like, I'm not feeling this anymore. Like, I wish I could have just been honest in that situation, because I really did screw her over, and she really hated me after that, and probably still does. And it sucks because like Pheromone is a really good person, and I actually connected with her so much because of like, we were the same age, we had the same past with MySpace, and like we just had a lot of similarities. And like, a part of me wishes I could go back and like, hopefully she sees this and knows that I'm like truly sorry from the bottom of my heart that I never wanted it to go down like that. But I just was like, first of all, I was in a weird place. Like, I had just broken up with my boyfriend of 6 years, and I was just spiraling. Like, I have so many stories that I need to tell you guys about that era specifically. Like, I was a complete disaster, like a complete mess. And so, you know, that's again, no excuse for how I treated her. And I just like ghosted her when she was there for me. And so, yeah, she like went off on me after, and it was completely valid that she did that. And so we haven't talked since. I mean, this was like 2017. So it's been like 8-9 years since then. And I don't expect her to ever talk to me again, but it's still like something that I always think about all the time. Like, how shitty I was to her when all she wanted was like love from me. And that's what's shitty, because I really did actually like her. I liked talking to her. I could have seen myself with her, but something just happened when I was with her that I just was like, I'm not into this type of person, and I don't want to like pursue them even longer and then fizzle it out after a year or something, just because like I knew at the beginning that this isn't what I wanted. So I didn't want to push it forward. Did I go about it the best way? No. I ghosted her and made her feel like a complete piece of shit. And I feel horrible for that, because I've had that done to me multiple times since then. And maybe that's karma, but it does not feel good. It does not feel good to ghost somebody, especially when you know how they actually feel about you. And like I said, it wasn't just some like fling. Like, we had been talking for months. We had sex. Like, you know what I mean? So it was just like really of me. And I feel really bad about that. But this story wasn't to just apologize to Pheromone for how I was. I really just wanted to tell you a fun story about the time that I bottomed for a drag queen, but somehow it's gone to how I'm a complete piece of shit and need to learn from my mistakes. But that's what I'm here for. So if you like these kind of videos where I'm just kind of learning in public and learning on YouTube in front of you and growing, keep following. If not, like I said, I don't really care. But until then, I'll see you in the next video.